Hi, I just want to make a short-term review on the specialized Stumpjumper Comp Alloy. So this is the one just above the alloy version. Retailed for about $3,400, but I paid $3,700 altogether. So I put about 200 miles on this thing, trail riding wise. Most of the trails I have around here are pretty smooth, rocks, roots every now and then. Some drops, about 3-4 foot drops, nothing massive. One thing that you'll find pretty soon is you go through the travel, especially in the back. I'll just show you there. Usually that rubber just falls right off. If you go to the travel, blow right through it pretty often. I weigh with everything about 220, so pretty heavy rider, and even for 3-4 foot drops, blow right through the travel. I might add a bigger volume spacer in the future, but for now I'll just leave it as it is and try to land more smoothly. Even the front too, you actually end up like on a 4 foot drop. You'll end up all the way almost up here, almost all the way through it. So it's not really, I'd say, a super plush bike. I took it on a black diamond trail up in Marquette, Michigan. If you're familiar with that, on the south trails. I took it on this trail called Flow. It's a bunch of big rocks, pretty much rocks all the way down. It's supposed to be an enduro trail, but I took it on there, and I would say it did pretty good for how it is. And it's funny is when I was there, I didn't blow through all the travel at all. Probably used, maybe that much for all of that, and even the front. Now there wasn't like huge drops, huge jumps. Or the end there's a huge jump I didn't do. I'm not that skilled. I did this small little jump. But through even chunky terrain, it actually does pretty good. I put the suspension settings pretty much on the fastest rebound setting, front and back. I had it in the slow setting, and it was just not doing really well with the rocks. So I put it on the fastest setting, and that kind of helped a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much, a little too rough, but it actually did really well, and I was surprised, and you can actually go pretty quick on it. Maybe not as fast, 160, 170 bike which just floats through that stuff, but if you're a skilled rider, heck, I even saw a guy do it on the hardtail. So for stuff like that, this bike is more than capable, especially if you're a skilled rider. I'm just an average guy, but overall I think it's a pretty good bike for the spec. A lot of people complain about the drivetrain on this thing. I haven't had any issues at all. It shifts all the time. It never, doesn't want to go in gear. Even when you're climbing uphill. I did one of the trails in Marquette is called Mount Marquette Trail. It's a black diamond with some pretty technical climbs, and there's a bunch of time it was shifting, to the gears pretty quickly. Shifted right away, didn't get hung up, nothing. Never had any issues with it. So maybe it's just the shop that you went through didn't adjust the derailleur right. Not sure, but I never had any issues with it so far. 200 miles. One thing I went through right away is the front brake. I replaced it right away with metallic brakes. I can show you there. Yeah, got some semi-metallic brakes. The stock brakes it comes with, I still have them in the back. Brake pads, as you say, the organic, the biting power is not there at all. So if you're going downhill pretty quickly and you want to stop suddenly, the stock organic brake pads will not do the job. period. You will want to get some metallic brake pads for sure to get that bite, and you will actually wear through the organic brake pads pretty quickly. Couple upgrades I did. I don't know if it's an upgrade for you, but I changed the what do you call this? Grips, because the stock grips, for whatever reason, specialized stock grips for me, they fade immediately. Like it immediately just, it's bald right here. So I bought these Ergons GA2. I think this is the cheapest one they sell. I like it. I thought about the fat one because my hands get really numb on the thin grips. Of course, bought a Hidiri riser bar, 38 millimeter riser, 810 millimeter wide. Stock one is 800, so 810, a little bit. My shoulders are hurting with the stock handlebars, so I changed it to this one, a little bit more rise. Besides that, nothing really else changed. Oh, one time I had an issue with the Fox DPX here, or DPS, float DPS. This lever right here, I'll show you. This lever right here kept going into all full lock on me. And one time I did a drop, like a 4-foot drop, and I didn't notice that day that it just kept doing that. I didn't notice it was locked before the drop, and it locked. And basically I went through that drop, and I think it destroyed something. Forgot what it destroyed, but I sent it back to Fox. They warranted it. They figured out that there was something wrong here, so they basically rebuilt the whole shock. So that was the one issue I get. But I sent it to them a week later. I had it back, so it wasn't that bad. And besides that, overall pretty good. I'm really satisfied with it. It's my first full suspension. For my area, once again, it's perfect. Pretty smooth trails, few rocks, roots. There's another trail kind of 40 minutes away from me where it's a lot more technical, and it still does really good, But I would say if you like a smooth bike and really chunky trail, this not it. But if you're a really good rider, I don't think it matters. But for the spec, for the money, it's okay. It's pretty good. The shift on the NX, SRAM NX, the shifting is pretty crisp. I never had any issues with it. So overall, I think it's a really good bike.